today. So, uh, I've got a lot that's been happening, so I really need to be working and focusing on other shit. But I'm stressed. I'm gonna take my mind off of shit by doing this instead for a second, and then I need to get back to work. But fucking basically today I just wanted to talk about the whole Raylee Wells slash um Kaze. I said slash, not flash. Flash, not fast. Fuck. And then I said, you know what? Fuck it. Read the description. Rayleigh Ricavina Wells, whatever, and fucking Kaze, Cynderra White, whatever. We'll be talking about all of that. So basically, Rayleigh posted a new video, so we could figure we could take a look at that. And it's the part three we were expecting. And then Cynderra also posted a new video. And then I figured we could just check for updates. And then also, fucking, I wanted to take a look at just general information about Google Trends because we've been looking at Google Trends for information about where public interest is surging in relation to the search topics as it relates to Kaze and Rayleigh. And so a lot of my theories about the PR analysis side of this has been coming from what we're seeing in Google Trends. And I forgot to go ahead and pull up a Google Trend report on them. But we've been looking at that. I might do that during the intro real quick. But yeah, fucking, and then we're gonna finish out with just me responding to some of the comments, cause what I'm gonna try to do is like every 2 months, 1 to 2 months or so, um, I'm gonna just either do a live dedicated to or just incorporate into one of my live streams responding to comments left on my videos. Um, because and I meant to do this last time with the last comments that were held for review, but fucking I forgot, and so then they got removed because I didn't realize that I needed to do it within 60 days, and now I know. And so yeah, make sure to be keeping an eye out on that. So we're gonna take a look at that as well. All right, so I'm gonna roll my intro, and then we are gonna do this thing. Hi, my name is Lexi, aka Deaf Child. I'm born deaf, hard of hearing. My team was one of the top teams between 2020 and 2024 in New Orleans and Louisiana. I began doing business as Deaf Child in 2013, marketing 2011, and sales 2009. I've earned 50 plus certifications in marketing and sales, and I have my Bachelor of Science from Loyola University, New Orleans, with a music industry studies major and a business administration minor. Visit my site at noladeafchild.com. Oh, fuck, I just realized I've been muted. My bad. Okay, well, basically, for anyone who didn't read, I basically was just saying that I pulled up the Google Trend report. I'm going to link it after, and we're going to review that when we get to it. All that's been posted since the fucking last time we checked in well, she posted another video about puppies, but she's only posted 2 videos about the situation. So one of them basically it says you can't prove that, and it's got like a man walking forward with like a book, and it's like dropping the book, and it shows like a collage of like screenshots and pictures of what would be the evidence. But you can't. It's not big enough to make out what any individual piece of any of it says. But it does look like it's showing a lot of what and more of what has been shown in the videos that we've seen so far that they've put out. Um, and it looks like I think that's the Soulja Boy song. Keep chasing that same old devil. Oh, nope, not at all. I don't know why I thought the beginning of it was. That's what it reminded me of. That's just my millennial ass stuff. But yeah, fucking, um, so yeah. So what I have my presentation, I have my screen, my presentation about all my questions regarding screenshots and everything that they've shown. And that's in, description of the video in that playlist. I have over 40 questions and none of them have been answered. And I think I was counting the discrepancies or what could be perceived as lies on both sides. And there are things, some of the things that don't add up with Rayleigh, but most of it is what doesn't add up with Cynderra because there's just a lot more things that Cynderra has said where you can see. But then there are certain things that Rayleigh said that I really think could strongly get used against her in court, whether or not you agree with whose side you're on. And again, I'm on neither side. I don't like either of them. But there are specific things that I think could get used against Rayleigh. Um, it depending on what is in the contract though, and then there are like specific things that I don't know what would happen, which are why I have questions, and that would be what would sway my opinion if I knew the answers to those questions. But I never got answers on those questions, so I can't fully say like with certainty which side I believe anymore. Although I fully admit I went into it believing Kaze when that first came out. I absolutely did. I fully admit it. And then now within I would need these questions answered to have like to fully say, okay, this is where I believe. Um, but do I believe that on technicality with concept, what could we consider a dress that's not fully paid for, um, that was taken, stolen? Yeah, I'm kind of at odds with the general public where I believe there is an argument to say that could be stolen, and that's only because for me of general precedent. Because the only reason people decided it's not stolen is because she happens to be a scammer who has scammed other people, right? But before that came out, before anyone thought it could be a scam, people thought that it was stolen. So the only thing that changes what people's opinion on if it counts as being stolen, in my opinion, is whether or not they liked the end result. Now, do I think that a refund should be in place and there should be a refund procedure thing happening? Absolutely. I don't, but I'm not saying that like any reason she has for not liking the dress is wrong. I'm just saying with this business transaction, I don't like how either of them handled it. That's what I've been saying. Um, and yeah, fucking for me, why I think I believed the business owner to begin with is like I've been saying before is it would because of what was being said. Like if it comes out that she's lying, and it hasn't officially come out that she has 100% lied about things. Act in my opinion on this. It's just come out that she's, in my opinion, a shitty business person. In my opinion, but I don't because of my questions. I wouldn't say outright that Kaze lied about it. I would just say that, I would need some evidence to decide whether or not there were truths told, in my opinion. Um, but what could be used against Rayleigh is she approved in writing specific things. And I think that's really going to get used against her. Okay, I'm sorry I'm harping so long on this. Alright, let's go into next. Oh, wait, whoops. My bad. I forgot to go look at this other video. Wait, did I link this one? I'm sorry I'm like this, y'all. Shit. Hold up. Let me link. I did not. Okay, let me add this real quick. Done. Okay, link that in the description of the video. Um, Oh, fuck. I did it again. I don't mean to. Alright, hold up. Why am I like this? Okay, let's go back to Rayleigh. Alright, now let's check this part 3. And this is where she is going over why she doesn't like the mini dress. And I want to reiterate, she did give approval on a lot of the things that I believe that she has previously said was wrong with it. She did give, like, in my opinion, in writing, there are things that were given approval on that I feel could be used against her. However, in general, everything she is saying about why she doesn't like the dress, I think is a valid reason not to like the dress. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think she's like wrong for not liking the dress. I just think there's, depending on what happened with what the evidence was shown to us, would where that could get you. I'm okay. I'm talking in circles. I'm sorry. Let's just watch the goddamn thing.
Let's get into this. Mini dress, part 3.
Here's a quick look at the mini dress. This is the front and this is the back.
Now, in regards to the see-throughness of the dress, I feel like, that could be a reason to complain, but that could also have been a chosen design choice, decision, whatever, you know what I mean? I don't know, fuck words. But with the right underwear, I think that aspect of it, of this dress, could work depending on the aesthetic you're generally going for, in my opinion. But yeah, let's see what she says.
This was my last fitting while I was still in Miami, but you can see that in these photos there's still a lot that wasn't finished.
So what I was saying could get used against her is immediately after this fitting, there's text messages that Cynderra showed. And if that really happened, in that text message, Rayleigh had said, "I'm so happy with how today went." Um, so that wording might get used against Rayleigh in court, in my opinion, in terms of how the designers their team might be able to argue with, well, she said she was happy.
I'm not going to zoom in on my butt, but you can definitely see where the zipper is bunching up. Even without the ribbon tucked into there, it still bunches out by itself. While I was there, there was still several places that were rubbing me that needed fabric to go over them. This was one of the places, as well as the top of the points. Speaking of the points, since they weren't finished when I was there, this is what they looked like when I got them. They are different.
So, and again, I do think these are all valid critiques, but what I think could alter what happens, what would be a legal decision on that shit would be like, where she had said she was happy with how the thing went. She gave approval in writing on the dress arriving late. If that evidence was real, I believe that happened. Could have happened, you know. If that did happen, as shown, then that could get used against her as it relates to all of this. And then the question of if Cynderra actually booked a ticket up there after she was asked to do so, at what point before or after was she blocked and things like that? Like all of those things, I think could factor in. Like for example, and what I mean by that is if Rayleigh was asking Cynderra to come, so Cynderra had booked the flight, and if that actually happened, if Cynderra did after that, before Rayleigh threatened to block her or said that she was getting blocked, and Rayleigh already knew that Cynderra was coming before blocking, then that might not go well for Rayleigh legally in terms of where they're going to be able to say, well, we made best efforts, right? But if Cynderra had never said she was going to come for that shit and didn't do any of that, if she did, until after being told she was getting blocked and being blocked, if that happened, um, then that doesn't go well for Caze. You know what I mean? And so, like, a lot of the questions I have at this point with both sides here, it's like you you would have to, you know what I mean? See that evidence to know, right? For me.
heights. They are different shapes around the breast area. This was the straight down look from the breast area. As you can see, it's digging into me, and the jewels are sticking out so far because they're just on top of each other. Here's a closer look at that. This is the inside of the left cup. There's no fabric on the point, so that was still rubbing me. And then this is the right cup, and again, no fabric plus different sizes.
I'm assuming that whenever Rayleigh like gave approval on how the day went, or like, the things arriving late, she was thinking this shit would get fixed because, or like it wouldn't be like this. But if that, for me also, like some of the critiques though, while they aren't valid critiques, where they might not go in her legal case for her, in terms of working out for her as critiques, would be like, if, where she was talking about the jewels sticking out a lot, if things like that were happening, when she said she was happy with how the fitting went, then in court they might be like, well, why the fuck did you say you were happy? Things like that. But I'm not going to say it like that, but you know what I mean. um if I'm making sense, am I making sense? I'm probably not making sense.
Here's a photo of the mini dress, just the top half. I'm going to drop the brightness down a little bit so you can see it against the carpet better. First of all, the very top strip was supposed to be just crystals. It wasn't supposed to alternate pearls and diamonds on the top. This jewel was supposed to be glued down so that it wouldn't get messed up because it was such a small piece from.
So right here she says this was supposed to be glued down. So there's been a lot of back and forth about whether or not she wanted the glue. And sometimes she'll say things where I'm like, it sounds like you said you might, like, I don't know. But I'm not trying to speak for her. I wasn't there. I'm just saying maybe someone could understand why I questioned that aspect of it based on things that have been said and shown, right? Like it was in the checklist. You know what I mean? So, and it's kind of like the same thing with the belt. And it's like, okay, I'm not saying that any of the critiques on the results are invalid. I'm just saying I believe there has been some miscommunication as well. Or perhaps a change of mind. Who knows? You know what I mean?
From the big jewel down to this one. I asked for these clear beads to all be taken off and more of these to go on. We're missing 2 jewels here. This is supposed to be glued down on this side and it's not. This is another jewel that's missing. This is another jewel missing. This is missing. This is another jewel missing. This was supposed to be all silver at the top to line it, and it's not. There was supposed to be fabric here so it wouldn't rub me wrong.
And now I'm thinking about the glue thing again. So, like, she had complained about the type of glue. Also, I don't know enough about glue to know, and this fact, like, making clothes to know the correct shit, right? So I'm not, but what I'm asking is, like, maybe that's what she meant. Maybe the issue wasn't whether or not glue was used. Maybe it could have been the type of glue, because also when she complained, she never complains about just saying, oh, you used glue. She said you used, I forgot what it was, but it was E something 100 glue. Um, you know what I mean? So like E something 100, I don't know, or 1,000 or whatever. I don't know about glue, but E something glue. And she was like, it was just specific glue she was mad about, I think. So maybe that was like the wrong type of glue. Maybe that was it. Or was it about glue in general? I don't know. You know what I mean? But whatever.
There's whatever that yellow stuff is right there.
Glue or something.
There's a bead missing there. I zipped it up and these stick out so far. We were supposed to take these off so that it didn't pooch at my butt. This piece, even when it's hooked, it still sticks out so far. Both of these, it still pooches. All of these pearl flowers were supposed to be taken off, or something was supposed to be put over them. All of these beads, again, were supposed to be off. There was supposed to be more of these. The original design, you were supposed to see more of the corset, and these jewels were supposed to line the corset all the way down. When I saw it at my final fitting, I knew that this is all super thick because it was just glued right on top of the design was all this, and it was not correct at all. And that was right before my last fitting, and this is 12 days late.
And again, I think these are all valid critiques, but if this was how she really felt, did she say these things during the fitting, or why did she tell in writing that she was happy with how it went? Because I would never have said I was happy with how things went if um there were this much shit going on with my own dress personally. But I'm also not trying to like, blame someone else for how they handle something. Perhaps this ties back to where, she had said she had trauma or whatever previously. And so this could tie back to trauma, and maybe she's a people pleaser or some shit. But um, I still feel like, like those are, even though like, there are reasons that, but it could all get used against her, right? And so so there are these reasons what I think makes her case different than Diana, the real Jinsu. Um, Diana is different than the real Jinsu. The real Jinsu was the Don, Dadon. In my head, it's like I know the difference between the two people, but for some reason, speaking, I keep saying, calling the wrong person the wrong one, and I know the right fucking thing. And this reminds me of like my mom. She used to call me Tori, and I'm a twin. And I'm like, I'm not Tori, I'm Lexi. And she's like, I know the difference between you. I just said the wrong thing. And I'm like, but then she'll also be like, she'll say all of her fucking kids' names to get to one name. And I'm like, I don't know. That's what that reminded me of. But so neither of them actually have posted updates since everything has gone down. But like I said with my table, I made a table on the difference between the three clients. These two, they never gave any approval ever, and not in writing, um, or anything like that. Whereas Rayleigh did, and then they both also paid in full, and whereas Rayleigh did not. And so I think those are the two biggest differences between the cases in terms of like why I personally feel different about what the legal outcome should be and the technicalities of them. But yeah, that's just me though. You know what I mean? So yeah, that looks like that's it for Rayleigh. Um, then so Cynderra on her personal page also posted this yesterday. So and it's the mini dress. So let's see. So I'm not gonna play the song for copyright issues, but it's just her filming the wedding dress on the model again. And that still really bugs me. It rubs me the wrong way because you don't promote somebody else wearing a custom couture um, dress that someone designed for themselves for their wedding. It's just disrespectful. Like the whole fucking point is to have that dress. Like no one else is gonna have a dress like that, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like I literally had ordered custom lingerie from a designer one time, and then the bitch was doing photo shoots with other people in it, and I was just like, okay, well, I don't want to buy that anymore. And she was like mad at me for not wanting it. She was like, but I made it for you. And I was like, yeah, but I wanted it for a photo shoot, so I could. And then the whole point of me getting custom lingerie for this photo shoot was that to be the differentiator for me to have something, because you can just go. So, and then I was just like, I just wanted something that like you're not gonna just see anybody else wearing. And now there's already photos out there of someone else in the exact same outfit. So that was the whole reason I literally told you that I was getting it. And so now I don't want it because I want to go find that from somewhere else, right? And so and fucking Like that, you know what I mean? Like it's like if if you are if someone asks you for something for that's like I don't know, that's just me. I don't know if I'm wrong for that, but that's just how I was like, oof. But anyway, and so that's the only new post about this specifically that I've seen from Cynderra, and then I haven't seen anything new on the Kaze page either. It does look like a Kaze bridal review is posted here. Potential damage control, possibly, in my opinion. So yeah, again, from here, what I figured is we could just get into checking out the information about what is happening with Google Trends, because I've been using Google Trends, and I need to let me add this little link in the description of the video real quick. Hmm. Alright, fucking. So this is for the past year right here, and we can see interest over time regarding search terms related to Raylee Rickovina, Raylee Wells, as well as Kaze and Cynderra. And so over time, you're really getting this biggest surge here um, as it relates to Raylee, right? Like, and at first it was negative, right? But then it's been pretty positive ever since because public perception has really shifted. Long term, I really believe this is going to help her business. So Kaze is also getting surgences in public interest. But now it's shifted. So previously, their public interest was more positive because of their association with the celebrities and that connotation of having their name recognized, like on the red carpet and being used for specific events, but like award ceremonies and all of that, But fucking that took a turn with this call out, because with this call out, and it was like in the last video that I did, link in the description of this video, I was literally getting to speak to the real Junsu. And the real Junsu, um, the captioner is wrong. It's the real Jin Su. Um, as but anyway, so she fucking was a client. She was so Diana had spoken out like 3 years, 2 or 3 years ago, and that didn't get traction at the time. So her series, that's mostly from years ago. But then the Don came out, um, the real Jinsu came out with fucking a video with her story, this other client, and that did go like right when this call out on Rayleigh came, she calls hers the scammer got scammed, and so she, and told her story, and that's where public opinion shifted, in my opinion. Um, so right there is where people are like, oh, okay, and so then that's where people were willing to see Rayleigh's side, right? Um, and so from that's where I was able to take a step back. So before, even from finding out the employee situation, I was like, oh man, fuck that shit. So once I found out the employee situation, I'm already looking at this different, right? But then it was also like, whenever that story came out, it's like that, and then the Rayleigh thing, I'm like, ooh. And so I don't like either of them at this point. I really feel like Kaze, like, the fact that she was willing to, if what she's saying, people are against her because of people being unsatisfied with the end result of the product, but I haven't seen any evidence to disprove some of the statements that Kaze was saying. So Rayleigh and Kaze, both of them haven't shown a lot of evidence, such as the amended contract or receipts regarding if there was a flight booked, things like that. Um, So there's a lot that we don't know about the situation. But yeah, so we've been discussing though, how long, like, will this be trending? And I think every time they release a video, those who are still on the train will be looking at that for, like, that video is going to get picked up another 2 weeks, a little boost in the algorithm for them because of the past surge in public interest, signaling to algorithms that this is a topic that people might be interested in. It will then feed it back to those who have been engaging or people like that. So at the end of the day, this is going to go well for them because they're both utilizing the um, increase in engagement for them while it's there. And so I do think that's a smart approach on both. And where I'm like coming to these conclusions can be seen from, I don't know if I linked this article before, but this little blog about frequently asked questions about Google Trends data. It discusses what samples are provided. It talks about real-time data as a sample covering the last 7 days. Non-real-time data is a separate sample from real-time data and goes back as far as 2004 and up to 72 hours before your search. And then it says, how is Google Trends data normalized? Google Trends normalizes search data to make comparisons between terms easier. Search results are normalized to the time and location of a query by the following process. Each data point is divided by the total searches of the geography and time range it represents to compare relative popularity. Otherwise, places with the most search volume would always be ranked highest. The resulting numbers are then scaled on a range of 0 to 100 based on a topic's proportion to all searches on all topics. Different regions that show the same search interest for a term don't always have the same total search volume. And then it discusses what searches are included in Google Trends. And it says Google Trends does filter out some types of searches, such as searches made by very few people. Trends only shows data for popular terms, so search terms with low volume appear as 0. Duplicate searches. Trends eliminates repeated searches from the same person over a short period of time. Special characters. Trends filter out queries with apostrophes and other special characters. So yeah, and there's a good bit more information in this little blurb here too. I was just, reading some of the key points here that I feel are relevant to what have been impacting my decision on where I'm coming to conclusions with the thinking about public interest as it relates to these terms and the trend reports, and then thinking where is public interest going to go from here. Um, and then just to check out this little video, so Google Search Central has a video called Intro to Google Trends Data. I figure we could just watch this bitch on like 1.5 speed. It is linked in the description of this video. You're gonna watch that normally. But I figured this could just give us like a little bit, we could react to this real quick, just think about a little more about kind of like what is happening here. Let me see if I have this pulled up right. Hold up, let me just, yeah. All right. So I just want to think a little bit more about how are we processing information and how are we using the tools and how are the tools we are using functioning. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's check.
Welcome to the Google Trends tutorial series. I'm Daniel Weisberg, search advocate at Google. And in this video, I'll take you on a journey into the world of search data to help you understand exactly what you see when you visit Google Trends and search for a term. When you understand what the data means, you will be able to find more and better ways to use it in your day-to-day work. I'll explain some fundamental concepts like sampling and normalization to shed light on the way we process our data. Then, I'll run through the product to give a bird's eye view of where and how the data is shown in Google Trends. And I may need to stop for a cappuccino on the way. And what is Google Trends about? Google Trends is a tool that provides a random sample of aggregated, anonymized, and categorized Google searches. And what does this all mean? To answer this question, and before diving into the tool, let me step back to explain how our data is created. I'll be a bit theoretical.
All right, so they're using a lot of big words here. Some people are like, yeah, I don't give a fucking what the fuck this means, and some people, whenever I start talking like this, they're just like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know what I mean? And so basically, all you really need to know though is that not only is this data anonymous, so we don't know where the sources are coming from, they don't disclose specifics of who is searching for what in regards to the trend. It is also, they categorize it by the topic term. So um, they compile and they aggregate the data by category. So by that they mean, so say the data is related to um, Apple computer, then they're going to add and aggregate and add all of the searches related to Apple computers for that trend report for that term, if you know what I'm saying.
Theoretical at first, so please hold tight for 2 minutes, and then I promise I'll get more practical. First, there are billions of Google and YouTube searches a day. If we look at every single one of them, it can take a long time for us to show you the data. For that reason, we look at a statistically significant random sample of the data, or simply put, we look at a portion of Google searches that is representative of the total. This allows us to process and make data available within minutes, and still guarantee that the data represents the overall trend. Second, we clean and aggregate the data to make sure we remove the noise while ensuring the privacy of Google users. This means we exclude terms that are searched by very few people, like my full name, or repeated searches from the same person over a short period of time, like me searching for how to boil eggs before breakfast. Third, we normalize the data in order to make it easier to compare. For every search term or combination of terms, we look at the time frame, location, and other parameters and estimate the number of occurrences for the term. Then we divide that by the total number of searches for the same parameters without the term. We repeat this for every point in the chart. And lastly, we normalize the data such that the highest point is made equal to 100, and all other points are adjusted relative to it. And that was the theory part. Thanks for sticking with me. I told you it would be just 2 minutes. Now you're probably eager to start playing with the tool. I'll talk a lot about it in the following episodes, but here's a sneak peek.
So this is basically kind of explains what we've been looking at. And so again, the reason they don't include every single search result is because then you're going to have um, the report based on how many people are searching for a term over the public interest over it, and there can be a difference in terms of you're going to get more people searching for things that they constantly use, as they were saying, or different reasons, or it could also be based on things like population, right? Or it could be based on like geography, and giving you a misrepresentation of where popular popularity surging is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm making sense, but right. So there's various reasons.
Head to trends.google.com and enter a search term. For example, coffee. On the Explore page, you'll see how this term has trended in the past day. You can customize the date range in the drop-down menu and adjust the dates to your data needs. You can go back as early as 2004.
Okay, it looks like they're just saying how to use it. We know how to use it, so I'm going to skip that part. And then we're just going to check out the recap.
This example. That was an overall view of the Google Trends tool. Remember, the data provided by Trends is not absolute search volume, which means you cannot know exactly how many people search for a specific term. The data is simplified into a metric called search interest, within a range of 0 to 100. This makes it easier for comparison, while respecting the privacy of Google users. This means that you cannot use the data to see how many people are searching for a particular term, but you can use it to see how the popularity of that term has changed over time. You can also compare the search interest of different terms across countries, Google properties, and categories. I hope this video helped you understand our data better, and that now you can explain it to other people in meetings and social gatherings.
Alrighty, so that basically explains that, giving you a little more technical side there. If you want to see the article or the full videos, both are linked in the description here. And so just to wrap up, I wanted to finish up with just going over some of the comments held for review. Figure we could talk about all of that. So Erica Jones and I had talked. So she was watching the Late Night with Lexi. I will come back to her. She and I talked. She feels like um, I was wrong about those situations, but you know what? She and I already talked about everything. And so if you go and watch the Late Night with Lexi aftermath of Kaze calling out Raylee Casze. She and I have a conversation in this video. And so you can see where we come full circle here. And then I believe it was a video after this that came out where I addressed the Camry comment as well. So you can see my thoughts on all of that if you want to go watch that comment. And I'm going to respond to her second comment telling me I did a good job. Thank you so much for that, Erica, if you see this video. I'll go respond to that other comment myself. And if you want to go see what I say, you can go check that out. So I am going to go check her out. So right here we have someone say, how did the event address and respond to the transphobic post? I'm going to approve that. In my opinion, they didn't. Basically, but basically what they did was they tried to, you know what, I'll go respond to that to type that out in just a bit. In my opinion, they didn't respond to the transphobic post. So the dude made a statement, like they gave a response, but they tried to sweep it under the rug. So the dude gave a statement saying he wasn't gonna say who made the post, but before he gave that statement, they were trying to claim they didn't know how that post got made. Then they tried to claim that someone else made the post not connected to the group. Then they tried to claim that they don't know who in the group made it, and then they were trying to claim fucking that they know who made it, but they weren't gonna tell us who. But trust them, they're not part of the group anymore. And all of the script, all of the evidence for all of that and everything like that is in the Red Dress Run playlist. Red Dress Run New Orleans Harriers playlist. Um, So check that out. And that's got everything that happened. Fucking. And so they basically just made PR statements trying to convince people that we didn't know what was happening. And you know what I mean? Trying to act like we were too stupid to understand that you can't just, because they were trying to act like anybody could have just made that post. But the thing was, the post was made from the business page. You can only make a post from a business page if you have admin, some form of admin access to it. You can't, no, the general public can't just go post from a fucking person's page as if they're them. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so it was just a response as if we're stupid. And I know that's ableist language. I'm working on decolonizing on that. It's, you know, it's a journey. It's a journey. That doesn't make it okay. It's where I'm at. Um, fucking, but the way that they're trying to speak to us is if we don't know what the fuck is happening. It just like, it pissed me the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll go type all that out to him so you don't, well, am I saying him? Well, I guess from the profile photo, I need to stop with the gendering people, but I'll type all that out. So yeah. So this person, I'm going to block them. So this person said, don't know how calling the police threatens to kill a black person. That's some super woke, hyperbolic thinking. This is someone who's going to get blocked. How do I block you? Can I block you? Oh, I can hide you. Ah, shit, I wanted to block you. If I report you, it doesn't let me block you? That's bullshit. Okay, I guess I'll just block them. Is it better to block or hide them or report them? Or if I hid them first, could I have then reported? That's so unfortunate. I should have hid. You know what I mean? Okay, so, now, if you don't understand police brutality and mass incarceration, that's totally fine. You should ask questions instead of gaslighting people or acting like it's hyperbolic thinking. What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's called statistics, bitch. But anyway, it's fine. Not everybody's good at math. That's why it doesn't add up for everybody. And again, I want you to reflect. You can disagree with me, right? You see how Erica's here saying she said I was wrong. She said she's saying she doesn't agree with me. That's fine. You can tell me you don't agree with me. You don't have to like what I say. You don't have to kiss my ass and suck my dick to be here. But I will not stand for people out in here saying some discrimination ass bullshit. Suck my fucking dick, right? All right. Now, I I don't want to be building my platform off of issues that aren't impacting my community specifically. In some ways, because I'm indigenous descent, police brutality impacts us in a very specific way, right? But this question and comment that I was responding to, that's specifically tied to the Black community at this point. And so I don't want to speak for them, obviously. But I also, want to just say where I stand on my personal thing on that. Um, because of mass incarceration and police brutality and the statistics of police killing Black people, I do believe that it's not hyperbolic to claim that it is a threat on Black people's lives to threaten the police on them, and that you should never do so unless you're actually unless you're legally obligated to, like, say you're in a car wreck, you fucking have to, basically, right? um or you know what I mean, or if like someone's actually trying to fucking kill you and they just so happen to be Black, then I guess you can't help that scenario. But to threaten the police on someone over a fucking dress, and there's been no bodily injury threatened to you or anything like that, um and for me, if you look at the statistics, right? So, roughly 30% of the United States population happens to be Black, right? Um, Black people outnumber white people in prison over 2 to 1, even though they only make up less of a percentage of the population in quote unquote United States, right? Um, and then you look into the account of how United States has 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's prisoners. Hmm, isn't that interesting? Um, so yeah, I don't know. It's not hyperbolic thinking, it's reality. Um, I don't know. I don't like, this is why I don't like conservative people, you know what I mean? Fucking, alright. Moving on, Rita Court. Ooh, she's definitely getting blocked. So, she says, are you suggesting that non-deaf, that's just hearing. Non-deaf is hearing people. Whenever deaf people start talking about hearing versus deaf, hearing people don't call themselves hearing. They call themselves non-deaf for some reason. And the reason that's worrisome is you want to differentiate you like the reason we're deaf is we can't hear, right? So there's already a term that's the opposite of deafness, that's hearing. And so whenever you prefer to say non-deaf over hearing, just really rubs me the wrong way, because why would you want to be non-us? You know what I mean? Like, when I'm non-something, it implies for me like you are against or anti, or that you're not part of it or involved in it, right? And so like, I'm non-compliant with something. That means I do not want to comply with it, right? Um, or I am not going to do that, right? So for me, it's like, just stick with hearing. So whenever you call yourself non-deaf, that always rubs me the wrong way. You're hearing. Just stick with that. You don't need to say you're non-deaf. Just say you're not hearing. Now, hearing impaired is a slur against us. Deaf people, we're just deaf. So we identify as deaf or hard of hearing. There are deaf people who identify as hearing impaired. Those are typically people who, due to forced cultural assimilation, are assimilated more into the hearing world, and they don't have as much of a deaf community or a deaf culture or a deaf tie to deafhood, right? There are more people who have been told their whole lives they're impaired to where they take that label onto them. But that's a different thing. I'm not going to tell a deaf person how to identify, but I will tell hearing people all the time, do not call us impaired. We are not impaired. That is discrimination against us and a slur to us. And then it says, so where it says, we're talking about deaf, hearing, or deaf cannot comment on issues concerning the deaf community without marginalizing or compromising deaf identity. So deaf people can comment on deaf issues because we have a lived perspective on deafness, and so we understand what it's like to be deaf. So yes, deaf people can comment on deafness. However, hearing people have nothing relevant to say on deafness, and it's a form of discrimination for hearing people to try and imply that they have an equal or valid opinion or authority on deafness. It's a discrimination against us. And you should check out my Deaf Awareness Month playlist for information on why. Um, and then it says, I worked in public television for well over a decade, and access to the visually impaired and hearing impaired was crucial. Again, I am deaf and I'm also low vision. I'm part of the blind spectrum as well. So these are both slurs against us. This is discrimination against us. They're demeaning. They normalize looking at us in the way in which our identity is used as a way to degrade. That's not okay. Um, so And then if you're not deaf blind, you trying to tell a deaf blind person that me having access is crucial as if I don't fucking know that. And this is left on a comment about my deaf family experience. So a hearing person trying to negate my own deaf family experience to me is always going to be discrimination. You can't tell me how to feel about my own fucking life. You know what I'm saying? So, or it says people responsible for that access were not necessarily visually or, okay, she keeps calling hearing impaired. This is discrimination. This is a slur. So she is not, I don't know why I'm saying she, because I don't know their gender, but Rita Court is not connected to deaf community. They're someone who is anti-deaf. They're not disability friendly. They're someone who discriminates against us. They're someone who, if they wanted to provide access to us, then you would care about our representation on the issues. Trying to say, well, we're not you, so we get to tell you what to feel and think and do, and you need to stop speaking for yourself so we can give you access, isn't access. I'm deaf-blind. I'm telling you what we need, what I need. You don't get to tell me how to feel about my own access. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so she said, they said, I never thought that might be an issue, though it seems from your live stream that it is. Yeah, discrimination against us is an issue. Autonomy is an issue. Using slurs against us is an issue. Trying to speak for us or represent us as if you know anything about our life is an issue. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, if you want to give deaf people access, you need to let deaf people represent ourselves on deaf issues. You need to listen to us when we tell you. Um, so yeah, and the thing is, she's arguing there. When you're bringing up, well, you worked in a situation that required giving deaf blind people access, so you should be able to speak over us. That shouldn't be related. You know what I'm saying? If you are basing your willingness or your experience on if you're giving us access on whether or not we should speak for ourselves, you trying to give us access isn't about our autonomy. It's about you exploiting us for your benefit, and it's not helpful to us. No, thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna hide user from this channel. No, thank you. We don't need people who discriminate against deaf people here. Fuck that. We don't need people who discriminate against blind people here. Fuck that. No, thank you. I wish I could have hidden that other bitch too. Fuck them. All right, and then 25 girls said thank you for covering the story so in depth. I've enjoyed the coverage. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ah! All right, I'm gonna go reply to these beautiful people now. And again, I want y'all to marinate. You see here where Erica's telling me I'm wrong about something, but Erica doesn't get hidden. You know why? Erica's not telling me I'm wrong about deaf issues. So I'm not sitting here like, if you're a hearing person, that doesn't mean you have to agree with every fucking thing I say just because I'm deaf. But if you don't have a deaf lived experience, then you don't get to argue with me about deafness. You see the difference? You see the difference? Okay. All right. I just want y'all to marinate. I just want y'all to marinate on that. Just marinate on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I just want y'all to reflect on. You see the difference on who gets to stay in my space, even if they don't agree with me, versus who I'm going to remove. You know what I mean? Yeah, letting that reflect. So next up, I'm going to go respond to those comments myself. Um, privately, fucking I wish I could have hidden that user. If they comment again, then I guess I'll get to. But yeah, nah. Um, I was not cool with that shit. Fuck. So, just to recap today, all we really talked about was just a quick overview of the Raylee situation. We went over more about what was happening with the mini draft situation and some issues with that. And again, all of those complaints are valid reasons to not like the dress or to want a refund. I just do think that some of the past receipts might get used against her, but we'll find out. And then after that, we just checked out a little bit more about Google Trends, just understanding where the data is coming from in terms of how are we considering the public interest over time as it relates to people looking into them. And then finally, we just wrapped up with me responding to comments. And what I think I'll try to remember to do is link to the videos that the comments were about in the description of the video. So yeah, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great night. And yeah, alrighty. How the fuck do I leave here? Marco, where are these buttons at? Okie dokie, bye. Thanks for watching. Join the loyalty program at noladeafchild.com/loyalty and check in during live streams to get points for rewards.